So Elon Musk has found a way to make the Hyperloop dumber. Like, really dumber. And if you're wondering why I got a bit of a lisp, it's because it's got some braces in it. It's quite difficult to talk with them. So, what is it? What does the Mercury News have to say? Elon Musk's Boring Company won approval from Hawthorne City Council on Tuesday night for the prototype of a revolutionary new garage that would connect passenger cars to the entrepreneur's envisaged underground Hyperloop. The latest proof of concept coming out of the company, Musk says, started from a social media joke about how to solve traffic congestion in LA. Turns out Musk wasn't kidding, and the concept is getting more serious with each passing week. By which they mean this. The drive-in Hyperloop, and yes, this is from SpaceX. I mean, let's just start with the basics. Let's take a typical car, right? And let's take a fairly chunky car, this sort of thing. So it's about 2 meters high, by about 5 meters long, by about 3 meters would be the size of the tunnel you would need for this sort of thing. This is going to be about 3 meters by 5 meters, so it's about 15 square meters is the cross section. And let's say this is a small car, so it's only, say, 1 meter high. So this is going to be about 2 meters, 4 meters. Yeah, so this is about 5 meters here. So this is going to be about 10 meters deep. So let's do some little calculations on that. 5 meters long by 3 meters wide by 10 meters deep. So the volume you got to pull out is an amazing 150 cubic meters. Now, 150 cubic meters of soil weighs somewhere between 1 and 2 tons apiece. So let's be harsh and put in 2 tons apiece there. That's 300 tons of soil that you've got to move just for that little tunnel there, right? So you can probably double this to get that one as well, right? So it's going to be about 500-ish tons. Let's say 500 tons is what you've got to move. Now, tanker trucks will take about 20 tons apiece. I mean, let's be generous and say a flatbed can take twice that. But now let's go for 20 tons apiece for a truckload. So you're looking just to extract the soil, just this crappy little bit here, as taking about 20 truckloads. So for every house in the street, you're going to have to about 20 trucks come by just to take the dirt out from to create this. And this isn't including any of the building, reinforcing the walls of that tunnel or anything. Simply so you can get your car to here, and I'm not quite sure how it magically turns around there. That's probably some patented magic by SpaceX. You know, a large apartment, right? I live in a fairly large apartment, and it's about 150 square meters and by about 2 meters high. So the volume of my apartment is, give or take, 300 cubic meters. So you're looking at digging enough volume here for a standard-sized apartment, just so you can move your car from the garage to a tube under the street. Now, of course, a more efficient way of doing this would just be have the single tube under the street, and then, of course, you would say have places where people walk and get in, say, large cars, you know, sort of underground train type things, and then you've got a metro. But having a metro on every street would be ludicrously expensive. You know, this is why we don't have metro stops on every street. And even at that, this is even more ludicrously expensive than ludicrously expensive, because you're putting these huge ass tunnels under every single house. Or as the Verge so eloquently put it, it's like a real-life Batcave, except under every house in the city. In fact, the Financial Times had a nice little piece on this, where they took it about as seriously as I did, which is we'd still guess $200,000 as a starting point just to sink concrete shaft 3 or 4 stories underground, which I reckon sounds in the right ballpark. Before we start talking about rebuilding a garage on top, installing a car lift and tunnelling sideways, surely it would make more sense just to drive to the nearest death trap, vertical public access point to the system for anyone not a mole person or fascinated by subterranean bunker lifestyle. And then they go on about things about, what about permits and who's going to deal with it if something goes wrong? Is it going to be public or private and whatnot? But it is a little refreshing that finally people are starting to write critical pieces about the Hyperloop. Although it's not all good news. I mean, if you just do a search for Hyperloop in the news, I get stuff like this. Hyperloop, the revolutionary technology that could change transport, yada, yada, yada. Elon Musk wants to connect your garage to a mass transport, whatever. New European Hyperloop proposed running from Amsterdam to Frankfurt in 50 minutes. Oh, God. Hyperloop will never work, but still, the research is valuable. Not so sure about that. We have known about vacuums for some time. The race is on. Plans for Hyperloop technology gather pace in India. And this... Larry Page wants to build a gas-powered bike Hyperloop. And so it goes on. Oh, what's this? A non-profit is suing City of Chicago. Really? Huh. Grisling said that he's not sure if either the Boring Company or the Mayor's office is behind the refusal to release the requested records pertaining to the deal. We have no information on who may be resisting the information. All we know is that the city is declining to turn over the records that we're seeking. Huh. And then in other things you get things like this. The dugout loop. This is Elon Musk's proposed 3-mile metro system. Apart from it's not called a sort of 3-mile metro system, it's called the dugout loop. And then it goes on to credit Elon Musk with putting the Hyperloop into motion in his 2013 white paper. No, the Hyperloop as a concept's been around for over 150 years. The first patents on it were filed over 50 years ago. All Elon Musk did in his 2013 white paper was give it a new name and add some really, really dumb ways to get into it. But then, of course, this isn't really access to the Hyperloop at all. This is just access to an underground tunnel. The Hyperloop, bear in mind, runs at 1,000th of an atmosphere. Well, at least according to Musk. You need an airlock here to an exceptionally expensive vacuum system for this to be any use whatsoever. Also, Elon Musk doesn't have to sit in the LA traffic like everyone else and can just transport his Tesla from his garage at home to the car park at Tesla. So if you enjoyed that, feel free to express yourself by going yay and liking the video. And if you want to be kept up to date with new releases, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. And if you really want to support this channel directly, you can do it through Patreon. And I'll leave the links below, and the next Patreon supported video will be on busting Amphibia. It's just awesome.